104.9 Bermuda. Our
What's up?
95. It's now time for Inside Sports Talk Radio with host Ian Rollins and Earl Basden. Brought to you by Game Time, the Arcus Group, Lindo's Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. Let's now go live with Ian Rollins and Earl Basden.
And good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday, November 18th. It is 12:15. I'm Ian Rollins, along with co-host Earl Basden and man controls Mr. Don Bassett. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good day. Seems kind of weird coming to work on this Monday, huh? Last 2 Mondays we've been off.
Yeah. Been off, man. Been nice.
I should have called in sick, huh?
Good here.
Good air, but that's not
I
me.
tell you, I'm still working on that plan.
You still working on the plan?
That plan's in motion.
4 day week work.
Yeah,
2 day work.
2
Oh,
days.
2. It's going on to 2 now.
I thought it was 4.
I thought it was 4.
No,
No, I thought it was 3. 3 days on, 4 days off.
No, work 2 days or 5.
How you making it so far?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yo, how you making it so far?
Yeah, you doing?
How you
I
pulling
can't
that off?
find no support.
And the same pay.
Yeah.
Same salary.
I tell you, I'm working it out.
Same salary across the board
Across
for
the
every
board.
profession.
Yeah.
But I got one problem we're gonna have
What's that?
real quick is that my trash. It's once a week now, so we're gonna work that up.
You got 5 days to take it to the dump yourself.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Man, more
Yeah.
gas.
Hey.
So now it's causing problems.
Hey,
It's causing
but you
problems.
got 5 days to work out everything else you want to work out.
Man, more traffic down into the dump.
Hey,
You got a waiting line.
look.
It's causing
You know how?
problems
You know
already,
how?
man.
You know
On
how?
your day off.
No. You know how on certain days your trash is picked up.
Yeah.
So on certain days you have a day to drop it off to the dump.
Oh, yeah. You done your
So
homework.
it's-
You done your homework.
Yeah, it's that down.
It's done its homework.
Yeah. I thought it was
But one more question.
What's that?
Education. What happens to school kids?
Oh, what they learn in 5 they can learn in 2.
So they'll cram everything in.
Yes. Yeah.
And then today's technology, of course, you have laptops, computers at home. You can on that 3rd and 4th day.
Sure.
Got you. All
See,
right.
what we need to do, go back to basic education,
Oh.
right? And then all that other crafty stuff,
Uh-huh.
that's for extra education.
Okay.
So you could have an afternoon for somebody doing special, so that would allow them to do it. You know what I mean? Like if somebody wanted to take special courses or advanced courses,
Uh-huh.
person's got 5 days to have their own personal.
Tutor.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So who are
Extra
you
classes.
submitting your proposal to? Who's guy going to work with you on this?
He's working on it.
I'm already booked a room at Maui because no matter who I take it to, I'll be admitted.
Oh, they got a room.
I'll be admitted because somebody's gonna ask me if I've lost my mind.
Okay,
But
fair
there's
enough.
ways and means to do certain things.
Yeah.
That is true. Okay. Moving right along. Back to the show. We have Melissa Luby, and she's a representative of the Bermuda Boxing Federation, a big event that's going to be taking place this coming Saturday night at the Sun Princess, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
Right? And of course, Mr. Nathan Deal, the president, he'll be joining me shortly. Welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Tell us about this event. This is one of the big, spectacular events in boxing that is held each year. Why is it such a success?
I don't know. I can definitely say so. I have only been a part of this amazing sport for probably about 3 or 4 years
Right.
now, and I act as their program and event manager at the moment. But in terms of the brand that we've been working together to build for Bermuda Boxing Federation, the attention to detail, the heart of it more than anything is what really makes it different when these guys do it. Anybody who's heard Nathan talk, he is sincerely passionate about boxing.
Most definitely.
You know he's passionate. And it's amazing to have people in a sport, and you know, it's across the board with sports, but to see and work with somebody that's so passionate about it from a grassroots level, I really think that's what makes it so different. That's what makes it so successful. So we have been working towards increasing our calendar, and hopefully in 2020 that will be something we can do. But we really just took the time to develop a brand. So we've been working together to really get that off the ground, and I think we've found the recipe for it. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, honestly, more than anything, it's about the athletes. We have some amazing talent in boxing right now.
One thing about boxing, it brings out all walks of life in this sport, right? and it brings out the best. And Bermuda's obviously history is Clarence Hill, 76 Olympics. But boxing across the world, everyone is into boxing. And now they're saying that in the heavyweight division across the world that it's on its way back, but the middleweights with welterweight people were there. They had a number of boxers. Can we see something in Bermuda where we're going to see the future blossom through your program?
You are going to see it this Saturday.
Okay.
One thing that I've said to Nathan and to other people is that when it comes to the other thing to answer a little bit more of the last question was it's also about the matchmaking. Nathan has done an incredible job with creating matches that are, you know, they're a what's the word I'm looking for? They're a challenge for the athletes, but they're entertaining to the crowd, and without there being any question about the level that our athletes are able to achieve with it. So that's what you're going to see on Saturday. You're going to see these athletes put it all on the table. And this is Andre's last amateur fight. Super, super excited about that because to see him grow pro next year, that's our next professional boxer. And that's exciting. But aside from Andre going pro, we have tons of up and coming talent coming up under him.
Okay.
We have Levince Tota, who's going to be on the card, and we have been dying to see him in the ring, and it just hasn't worked out. I know me personally, it's like, fingers crossed it works out this time, but it whether we go, nothing has changed. Fingers crossed he'll be here and be in the ring. But if you've seen Levince fight before, it's always amazing to see him in the ring. So we'll have Levince that's in the ring this time around. Who else do we have? Because I just got so excited about that. But yeah, we have some amazing up and coming talent. If you guys have seen Adrian Roach, Adrian is gonna be something. I've been talking to Adrian the past couple of days because he actually did a skills match. He just did a skills bout with Coach Leo for the renaming of the gym. And he sent us a message after they posted something, and even just to see these athletes get excited about younger kids getting excited about them. He said, you know, a younger kid came up to me and they were like, I want to box like you when I get older. Wow. And it's so crazy to see this evolution because we've seen them be that way with Nikki and Teresa and Clarence and Troy Darrow and all of these other people. And now for them to actually get that same respect and admiration from younger kids, it's really an amazing evolution to see. So Adrian's gonna be someone else to watch. He put on a show. They went to Canada and I can't even tell you guys how amazing it's gonna be. It's gonna be amazing.
Now the event gets underway, Princess. What times the doors open and what can we expect from all walks of life when we enter Princess?
So the doors open at 6. So we actually have 2 separate events going on that day. We actually have, we always wanted to create a platform for our younger athletes to have the same shine as the adults. And we did feel that some of that was lost having them at the beginning of the night on the same night as the main event. So we've actually created, this is our second year doing the return. So we're doing the Family Fight Fest, which is going to be from 12 to 3 on the Saturday. And the doors for that will open at around 11 or say 11:30. But the main event, Saturday night, doors open at 6 with the first fight starting at 7. And very much of what they got last year. We are trying to put ourselves in that Vegas style boxing. We love that. That's what Fairmont Southampton brings. I think I heard Nathan call it the other day and I laughed. He said it's the Winter Cup match. And I laughed at him. I was like, you know what? We were looking back at the pictures. I'm like, you're right. This is the time to pull out your best winter clothes. I saw some hats. We joke about the mink coats that come out, but I don't know if it's ever that cool, but people get that dressed up. So that's what people seem to love about the events that we're doing, and we hope to see more of the same on Saturday. So people have asked what they will get, and I know there's been some debate about ticket prices and that sort of thing. I wanted to say our ticket prices have not changed. I heard they come at me. If you look at our poster from last year, it's exactly the same. We haven't changed any of our prices. So just wanted to put that on the table. But in terms of what we do, it is reflected in what you get. So when you get there, that VIP feeling is what we give you. There's a red carpet area for our VIPs. You're escorted through a different entrance way. Mr. Deer just walked in. You're escorted through that VIP entry. We
Jack
take
Ryan.
pictures. We give you that VIP treatment. There will be a VIP lounge again for you to come in. Ringside and VIP ticket holders will get a few treats, including complimentary drink at the hotel. And it's just a lot that we are working with everybody to make it a really good experience.
For an event like this to be so successful, how long have you put preparations behind the scenes to make it happen?
So we normally start planning for this a year in advance.
Right.
Yeah, so as soon as we stopped November, we were back on again to start planning again. Everybody's like, oh, it's finally over. I was like, no, we got like 2 days rest, and then we just start planning for the next one.
Fair
So,
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah, it's been pretty good. Coach Leo.
You got Coach Leo Street Course there? Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon to you, sir. And how you
Good
doing?
afternoon, Bermuda.
We were just talking about Adrian. You must have heard us.
Okay.
Just enlighten us about the agent, because your event organizer's like gung ho about it.
Yeah, he's determined to be the next.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, it's why he's putting this on awesome work. Like, it's so focused and it's so disciplined right now, like, that it's on that professional mentality.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And he knows how serious it is, and he knows how serious, like, everybody's got his back no matter what. And he just means it's got to be straightforward, tunnel vision, focus on what you want, stay away from the hillbacks, stay away from all the negative talk, stay away from people trying to bring you down. You know, you heard, but don't learn. You know, but we guys actually was running the youth center yesterday. They done the thing for Sammy Wilson and Clarence Hill. It was an awesome turnout, and he never met Troy Darrell personally. But this guy was like a big kid in a candy store.
When he met Troy.
Why they like, hey, that's Troy Darrell. I'm like, yeah, that's Troy Darrell. Why do I want to shake his hand? Like, yeah, bro, I get some of that energy in your goose.
Right.
You know, but it was nice, and people got to see him, you know, because it's never really been out in public like that. He ain't really, you know, this would literally be his first time fighting up at South Beach.
Right.
The first time we had him scheduled, he has bullet, so we had to pull him out. You know what I mean? It's mama's decision, but this is how serious we are about boxing period when it comes to the youth all the way to the adults. What's awesome now is that we're just getting a whole month or two of youths really, really wanting to fight. Like on that night we got the youngsters doing the daytime event from 1 to 3. Hey man, you see these little guys fight, you're like, no way, like these little guys, yes sir, guys are getting in the ring, they're fearless, like sparring against adults. And the furthest, I look them in the face and say, yo, this is the first opportunity you get to beat up an adult and don't get in trouble for it. Take advantage of it. And they take advantage of it, like, and real skills, like sometimes Nate would just pop in and he be looking at things, he be like, who's that? Who's that girl there? You know, I can't even remember her name. But I'll be showcasing this girl that day, and
Nicole.
That's her name?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I just call her Champ. I just got a nickname Champ.
Okay.
Chump, Softy, whatever suits you at the time. You know what I'm saying?
You've been in boxing for a number of years. You've seen a lot grow during your time. You're putting some emphasis on the youth, and that's been one of your strengths for a number of years as well. But this year you've got a separate program for the youth coming in at 12:01 to 3 o'clock. That must be special for you this year to see something separate from them, that they get the focus for themselves.
Oh yeah, sure. Because like last year we done it on the Friday night, but it didn't really make no sense to space it out like that because then it's costly. So they're moving it on the same day, but earlier. It's nice because then you got a lot of the people that probably wouldn't come out on a Friday night, come out on a Saturday afternoon, bring your youths out. Some of them might end up talking about, yeah, I don't want to do that. But when they see, because I'm Joseph, little Joseph, and when they see him, because this going to be doing actually a skills match, like what I do with a lot of the kids.
Right.
Because Joseph is hard to get him a fight because of his, not necessarily his age, but his size, his weight. And a lot of the people his age, they ain't really on that level.
Right.
And this kid is explosive. It's like a mini Adrian.
Adrian.
What? Khalil Smith, I think that's his last name. There's another little boy. Like, these guys are seriously amazing me right now. Like, we guys had a little referee. The referees came down to gym on Saturday. Guys were doing some sparring so they could get some little on-hand work. Like, me and Khalil done 3 rounds. This kid beat me the first round. This kid beat me the fight. And I did it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sparring with him and I'm jogging. Like, sometimes I might hurl back, just to see what it's gonna do.
Right.
And sometimes because my whole thing is when I get in the ring with these guys, it's like a fight. It's like, yo, I'm literally trying to hit you more than you can hit me. So you need to keep up that fight volume and
Right.
punch volume and not keeping up. Like, I mean, it's burning them out, but I'm like, these kids are doing 3 rounds. And they only doing 2-round fights, 3-minute sparring, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds, and they only doing 2 minutes.
What has attracted these young kids to boxing over the last 2-3 years with you?
Well, I guess it being the vibe, like it's fun. Like I show them how you can have fun and you can literally get something out of it. Like you might not want to be competitive, but you could get showcased. You could come to one of the kids events. You could do something. Maybe do a little fun rib. Like you could be a part of it. You don't have to participate per se, but if you want to participate, whole new level, whole new discipline, everything, school, everything has to fit together. Like no exceptions.
Okay.
And they're loving it. Like they're loving it. I'm starting to draw in a little more girls. That's what really, because girls, they don't really stick to the wicket like that. Because some of them, they're getting 17, they're getting older, they're becoming women. I ain't trying to be hitting nobody. But they'll come down. And then get that little workout in. The ones that are regulars. They're gonna get that workout in, and they'll see big improvements. And like what makes these guys like different, like because I go on YouTube, I study certain fighters, I because that's my job now.
Right.
So when I had these guys, like yesterday, I brought one of the guys, the youth center brought one of the spectators in. His actually done work with the guys over at Harris. And I said, come on, you're gonna give Adrian a defensive round. It's like, no, why that guy's dead? I just saw what he done to you. I said, no, it's on defense. It's not throwing no punches. But y'all gotta hit him, and I want you to try hit him. Hey, people was like, whoa, like this guy was slipping. And I tell you, like, really try to hit him. Like, yes, sir. I said, why y'all boxing? Why you want me getting there? Yeah, and this really trying to hit Adrian. Adrian's manhandling him and shutting it. Like, yeah, I don't want to fight this kid. And the guy is so strong right now. Like, the guy is so strong. Like, it ain't getting funny. Like, him, Levin's, George, like these guys are sparring with each other on a regular basis, and when I got each other right now, like I can't even. When I get in there, I'm gonna bring my A game. When I spar with them, I'm bringing Lionheart 2020 out. Like they're like, damn, coach, hey, but y'all still. I said, what? You guys gonna be telling me that you beat up coach? No, that ain't gonna happen no time soon. But it shows them how serious I am to keep up with them and to show them that you guys could be way better than this. Like, no, like just apply yourselves, focus. The opportunities are gonna come. Okay, may not be a lot of fights in Bermuda, but anytime you got an invitation, you're going. Foreign, don't matter where. You can travel, good. Don't worry about if I can travel or not. You're going. I'm not fighting, you're going.
Right.
Sometimes I can't go. I'll send an assistant coach in place. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want them lose out on an opportunity that is only gonna benefit them, especially if you really want to be a professional fighter.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll take commercial.
Okay.
We're going
Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us now in the studio is the president of Bermuda Boxing Federation, Nathan Dill, and his guest, who will be on the main card for Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
From Mexico. First of all, welcome.
Yes.
Nathan, I'll start with you because I do have some questions for him,
Okay.
but I've already figured out how I'm going to ask.
Okay.
So how are things shaping up for Saturday night?
Well, our fighters arrived yesterday. We had David came in from Toronto. David came in from Toronto via, of course, Durango, Mexico yesterday, and the Portuguese team came in via London yesterday. Both teams are feeling great, and they are also excited that they are here very early so that they could have time to acclimatize, train. And one thing that David and the Portuguese team wanted to do was to be able to meet and greet people, make a presence in the community. So they're looking forward to interacting with people. And again, they're excited for Saturday night.
All right, I'm going to try this and see how we get. Okay, you ready? Okay. Hold on.
What do you know?
No,
That's
it wasn't.
English.
Okay, yeah. Well, good. Okay, we'll come back to it. We'll come back
Sure.
to it. So everyone is here that's due to fight.
Everybody is here that's due to fight. It's just a logistics thing. The option was either what we would consider too early as a promoter or too late. So the option was Sunday or the 22nd, which is what? Thursday? That's a little bit too much anxiety
Friday,
for me.
actually.
Friday.
Yeah,
Friday's
it's
the 22nd. So those were the two options that the travel agents presented us. And I said, there's no way. It'd be too much anxiety for me to bring them in Friday. and for them, they want time to, acclimatize. So, we decided to bring them in early. And again, they're on the ground running. David just left a Spanish class at Cedar Bridge where he spoke about his culture and spoke about Mexico. And they asked him, went around the room asking him questions in Spanish. So, those are the type of things that, his schedule permits him to do this week. And he's trying to get his translator app as well, because this wasn't planned. I just said, listen,
I'm ready for him now. I'm ready for him now. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
Let's
this is
try it.
good. This is good.
What do you know about your opponent?
Steve,
Okay, hold on.
You gotta switch it.
¿Qué sabes sobre tu oponente?
En Spanish.
Sí.
Sí.
Pues solo sé que es un peleador fuerte, agresivo, pero nos preparamos para eso. Venimos nosotros a ganar.
Okay. Well, I'm going to translate it because I got it. He says I asked him what does he know about his opponent. Very little, but he's looking forward to a good battle on the night.
Mr. Isn't had it figured out.
Just thought I'd try it and see what happens. Just thought I'd try and see what happens.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the Spanish class just now, and I told them my experience, being an educator. I said, listen, in high school, I did not see the value of speaking another language.
No.
And I told them the story. Until I went Costa Rica, I went with Bermuda Sancho to Costa Rica in 2015. And the taxi driver said cuatro, and I thought he said 40. So I paid him 40 pesos $40
Right.
instead of $4.
Right.
That man waited for me the whole day while I was in the mall with my wife for me to come out and said, hey. And then I thought it strange. So when he got back to the hotel, I said, no, man, I must have overpaid this guy. Why would he wait for 6 hours for me? So, it's a valuable thing learning knowing a second language.
Yeah.
And that's how we've been doing it. We've been doing Google Translate. We've been doing gestures.
Right.
This is family. I mean,
Right.
he's staying with me.
All right.
He enjoys being in Bermuda, and he's just grateful for the opportunity to be back in Bermuda as well, as are the Portuguese team, because Fabio has only had one fight since 2017. And I questioned him why. I said, thinking about Portugal, you have millions of people there. He said, there's nobody for me to fight. So he has to go to Spain or travel in order to get a fight. same as Mexico. I mean, Mexico has a huge fight
Yes,
scene,
yeah.
but most of the opportunities are
Outside,
overseas.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know one thing's for sure around the region, especially Mexico and the Pan American region. A lot of fights are held in like Chile and El Salvador and those type of places. So although they have strong fighters in Mexico
Yes.
and these places, they still have to leave their country
Yeah.
in order to get that exposure kind of thing. But how have the two communities in Bermuda been rallying around this event? Because you have the Portuguese community and you have the Mexican community for the main event.
Well, so of course, Bermuda being a predominantly Portuguese community, and they have came out in tremendous support. I asked them, hey, do you need me to get a minivan? Like, what do you need of me? They said, no, we will take care of our people. You know, that's literally what they said to me. And it was the first time I put it up on our social media feed last night, as far as they had 7-car caravan picking up their crew from the airport,
Right.
and within minutes you saw they had the women in the kitchen. They were cooking, and I don't mean burgers and fries.
Right.
I mean they were cooking some food.
Right.
Within 3 minutes of being in the house, they had the stove on, and they bought their own groceries. So we've had a huge support from the Portuguese community. We've tried to reach out to, we know it's a small pocket of the Mexican community.
Not I remember Bermuda played Mexico. But you only
Yes. Yeah. So we've tried to establish links with the Mexican community in Bermuda. So we are doing a Taco Tuesday, thanks to Rosa's Cantina, tomorrow night. There are 3 Mexican chefs there, and they're invited him to an authentic Mexican, because what they cook is Tex-Mex,
Right.
the American version
Yes,
of
yes,
Mexican
yes.
food. So
Turned on.
so you're just reminding me that means spicy then.
Yeah.
Mexicano comido mucho spicy.
Tacos, no.
No, it's not. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I tried.
Chile.
Yes.
Chile,
yes.
Chile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mexico is very común o yes, mucho.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're reminding me to
From-
prepare for
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will ask you how you're feeling on Saturday.
Yes. Yes. So it's gonna be a good night. I mean, the boxing fans and enthusiasts are really looking towards this event, because it's gonna be 10 round. It's a pure championship. We have the president of the IBA. So normally, which it's a good and bad thing, because Steve Smoker, everybody knows. He normally comes down. He is a celebrity referee.
Right.
He actually was pulled from this fight so that the president of the IBA can come down, because he wants to see what's this
all
Bermuda
possible.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
It's
It's
a
a
good
good
thing.
opportunity for us.
When will he be arriving?
He will arrive on Friday, just in time for the weigh-in. Because granted, he does this. This is what he does.
Right,
So he
right.
just come in, do his thing, and then he'll probably be going to another region. I know they have an event in Europe and Africa and stuff. So he's just gonna hop over just to see what we're
So
doing.
with Steve being pulled, who's officiating the night?
So we will have qualified Anthony Michette, who is IBA qualified, certified, and of course Oscar Lightbourne remains the commissioner
Right.
of professional boxing
Okay.
locally. So they'll be both in their duty supervising the fight.
I know you guys are promoting this particular fight, but I know when you first started out, you guys had national championships.
Yes.
Or you were grassroots trying
Yes.
to build
Yes.
kind of thing. Can we see that back in 2020?
That is absolutely happening, and I'm glad you asked that, because so our schedule has to adjust, because there are some things that are going on that's causing us. But for February 2020, we had planned to have another national championship. We've ended the cycle with Andre and Tyler. We've taken them as far as they were willing to go. The opportunity still presents itself for them to go and try to qualify for the Olympics, as we
Right.
spoke about, because the politics, the IBA losing the sanction.
Yes, yes.
So an independent body created the opportunity, but both of those fighters, Andre and Tyler, do want to go pro next year, which puts them on a fine line of should I pursue amateur, should I pursue professional. So because of that, we need a new cohort. We need a new cohort for 2024. So some of the names that you heard Leo speak of, we have been investing in them, and so we are grassroots. We sent Adrian, we sent a couple of we sent Khalil, who Leo mentioned, and we sent a couple of our youth boxing academy students to Toronto in August to compete. So we're already investing in those young people who we know are, I don't want to say it like this, but worth the investment, putting in the time.
Yeah.
So come February, we had planned to have another national championship, which we would have used to build our national team. The benefit now is that we have a younger national team, 16, 15,
Right.
and we work with them for the next 4 years. They are going to be in prime time by the time they get to 19 and 20. Again, Adrian right now is fighting 4 fights a year with plans to fight 6 fights a year. You know, by the time we get him to 21, he will have a 19 and something record, which has taken Andre and Tyler, you know,
Years and years.
yeah, you know what I mean? So we haven't everything that we're doing, and even this event goes back to the grassroots. You know, we're funneling, all funds go towards these programming, our training, our officials. It all stays in-house. So we've had to move that date back because, of course, there's another event now before that. So we're looking at doing something. My dear partner over there, Melissa, has... So you don't want to talk about another event while you're doing another event.
Yeah,
so she cornered me in the elevator, and she said, "We're doing May." I said, "We're not. I'm not even past November." But there is something on the horizon, whereas we do want to bring back. I'm trying to get her, like, how much can I say? We're trying to do a multi-sport event with boxing and some of the other sports, the other combat sports for May 2020. So I'm not excited about that
He's
yet.
rolling his eyes.
I'm not sure everybody sees that.
It's a camera in front of me.
But I think he is excited.
I will be
For him to
excited.
even say the date, you guys don't understand how much that means to me right now, because every time I've said it to him so far, he's just rolled his eyes, sucked his teeth, and told what happened. So this is progress. This is progress. But
I think
yeah,
it's a
we
good
are.
progress, man.
You have to
progress.
get past the what's in front of you. You know.
I only say that because you have a lot of people that love the sport of boxing.
Yes.
That travel to the East Coast, or some even go to Vegas to watch boxing. If there's opportunities on the island that present itself more than once or twice a year, I think that will build more around the sport and get that interest going.
And that's exactly what we're trying to build. So to be able to do it on, so what you're speaking to is exactly what we've kind of gone away a little bit from what we're looking to do, so that we can go back to it.
Okay.
So we had to find, you see a lot of charities and nonprofits right now are seriously struggling when it comes to funding. We had to find a way to fund what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were able to do this year, a few of the kids that actually ran on that trip, this was their first time leaving the island, let alone leaving the island for boxing.
Right.
So those are the things that you may not see them out in. It's not something that's specifically newsworthy.
Right.
But these kids are able to go out, not let alone get outside of Bermuda, but also see the sport outside of Bermuda. So we had to find a way to fund that outside of looking for charitable donations and grants and that sort of thing. And so these events, which we only do the big one once a year, this is this is the fuel for those other grassroots events, if that makes sense. Right. So we've worked this way, and it also gives them an understanding of what it is they're working towards. We have to create a balance between seeing what you're capable of and seeing what other people are doing and giving you something to aspire to. So how Leo was talking about Adrian and what happened last year. Unfortunate in a sense, but the change we have seen in his approach to the sport and the passion for it, it was worth it, because he is so exactly, and they're so invested in it. They're so loving to go, and the family fight fest dynamic has given that even more of a meaning. So for them to graduate in a sense from that daytime event to being on the main stage with the Andres and the Tylers and our pro boxers like David and Fabio, that's the type of progression that we're looking to build in them as well. And it's been so you'll see the comeback of the grassroots events next year. And we also want to speak into what you were saying, in terms of opportunities. We definitely want to enhance the opportunities that they have on island. It's expensive for us to take them off island.
Right.
But it goes hand in hand with what Bermuda Tourism's trying to accomplish and trying to build a sports tourism platform. So getting people to see Bermuda as a valuable and a beautiful backdrop for these types of sports events, it's been part of what we're working to build. And now I think we're pretty much at a space where people are seeing the value in it and they're buying into it. So.
How, I know how you came up with this particular bout, but
Yeah.
but
You were there. You were there both times.
but what does this bout actually mean to Bermuda, being the place in which the bout will be decided?
Yes.
By two people that have faced a Bermudian in the same location.
So what this opens up is really Bermuda as a market or a destination for these big fights. The IBA is only 2 years old in its current format. I was watching IBA fights when Sugar Shane Mosley and some of those other people had that bout, and they were interesting. So again, the IBA looks at Bermuda as a very attractive platform for their events. So you see us pushing the pay-per-view. We want the house to be filled. We absolutely do want the house to be filled. But in the grand scheme, we want to export what we're doing here to those international markets like Mexico and Portugal and wherever else we can source a popular boxer from. And we want to start using Bermuda as a fight destination. We will never rival Vegas or whatnot, but for some of these progression fights, I don't want to call them that because it really takes away from their significance. But for some of these fights, there is a very Portugal, how many million people are interested in seeing their top boxer in Portugal and a top boxer from Mexico? So we want to showcase Bermuda. We want to showcase Bermuda boxing, and we want to give our local boxers a platform to reach international notoriety, fame, really.
All right, before we wrap up, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll finish up and get you guys to mention what's the last final things leading up to Saturday. We'll be back after this brief message from our sponsors.
Talk Radio has been presented to you by Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And we want to welcome you back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday, November 18th. Again, finishing up with sport of boxing in the studio, we have the president of Bermuda Boxing Federation, Nathan Dill. Nathan, Saturday night, what, if any tickets are left, what do you tell those people that we would possibly miss if they don't show up?
I would tell people to go out and buy your ticket. It is an experience. It's not just a night. We have events starting as of Tuesday night and going straight through into Sunday. So I do encourage people to come out to those events. We have Taco Tuesday on Tuesday. We also have the Portuguese meet and greet at the Aquarium at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. We have on Friday the weigh-in at 6 o'clock that we invite people to come out to at Fairmount, Southampton. Of course, the Family Fight Fest at 1 o'clock at Fairmount, Southampton again on the 23rd. The main event doors open at 6 o'clock. And then we have an after party after. So it's a whole lot of activities. I thank you, Earl and Ian. I look forward to seeing you guys out there because you don't miss any one of those. So Bermuda, if you have not come out to a boxing event, this is going to be a fantastic night of boxing and a fantastic social event. And I just encourage you to pick up your tickets now. The easiest thing to do is to go into one of the stores, Kid and Caboodle, Sousa's Landscaping, or Sports House, or Cafe, I can never say it, Soriano, or on bdatix.bm. And I'll be not doing my part by thanking our sponsors, Universal Security Alliance, Gatorade, Labo Technology, Melissa, that's supposed to do her job. Bermuda Commercial and Residential Trucking.
Yeah, he's taking it from you.
She's supposed like
Electronic services.
Electronic services. We thank all our sponsors. We thank you guys, Ian
Always.
and Earl, Power 95 for your support. The Portuguese team will be on Inspire FM on Thursday, and please come out and support not just the international fighters, which will be a fantastic fight, but the several local fighters who will be facing off against Team Portugal and the local fighters who will face off against each other. I'm expecting a fantastic, just hype atmosphere the whole night. Our boxers are looking forward to it as well. So.
So you're ready to box.
I keep telling people, you gotta pay a lot more money to see me get knocked out.
You guys had asked earlier about the tickets. So the other thing I failed to mention is that those ringside and VIP tickets also give you free access to you don't just get access to the fight night. You get access to 3 additional events. You get access to the pre-party on the Friday night. You get access to the
Tuesday night events.
And
there will be, we just confirmed,
and those have free beverages for those who are asking what's come with it. There's free alcohol for those ones. And then the after party is free as well as free entry, complimentary entry to our Family Fight Fest. So you get 3 events for the price of one with that VIP or ringside ticket.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, folks. We look forward to
I
big
do
night.
have something from David. He did give me, because we did sort out our Google Translate. He did just want to invite the people of Bermuda to come out and witness the fight. He wanted them to come out and show them some support, and he wants to thank Bermuda for their hospitality so far.
All right. Thank you.
Say adios.
Well, folks, we're going to break for news time, and we'll be back after the news and weather with more Inside Sports Talk Radio right here on Power 95.
Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston. It's now time for our health and fitness segment with Dave Wolf, brought to you by the Argus Group and Fit for Life.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio right now is Shakira Warner, who's no stranger. She's the population health specialist at the Argus Group, and she has a special guest with her this afternoon, Angela Joel, if I'm correct?
Yes, you're
Right.
correct.
And your title is?
I am the investment education manager there at Argus.
All right, that's a mouthful.
It
Welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Were you here the other day, ma'am?
2 weeks ago.
You sure?
Well, less than 2 weeks. Holiday.
That's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Welcome again
Good
to
to be
Inside
back.
Sports. You got some good topics you want to talk about, especially covering the areas you're talking about financial wellness around the holiday period. Explain to us where you want to start with first and what you want to focus on.
Sure. So I'd just like to give a brief introduction to Angela Joel. She, is a wonderful asset to Argus and a wonderful asset to our clients. And her role and passion really is to educate and support people in their understanding of their financial health. And through this role, she meets with individuals as well as group clients to kind of walk them through, financial planning, giving them kind of the financial health 101 and help them plan for their future.
And can you just break it down a bit more for the person who's listening right now? Is like, what do you mean by break it down for the future, Angela?
Well, even though I work primarily in the pensions team, my role is to help people to make decisions about their pension money so that it will grow and multiply. And this is somewhat new. I mean, our legislation came in the year 2000, and most people aren't accustomed to now receiving statements 20 years in, with balances of $100,000 and their name is on it, and they have a portfolio of monies. And so I guide them on how to make investment decisions to grow it, and I break it down into layman's terms so that they're not got all that investment, speak about equities and bonds, and a lot of people are like, I just want my money to make more money, how can I make this decision? And that's what I do.
Because it could be confusing for many people when you
Very
start
much
seeing
so.
different columns.
That's right.
Right.
And how do you prioritize what's in what column? When you start seeing percentage, that's where I think a lot of people get confused.
That's right.
Yeah. So how do you break that down to them? Because the people see the bottom line, the total number, but then have to realize that it's broken up into various different sections.
That's right. I have that individual conversation, which is a little bit different than when I go and talk to an employer and talk to them as a team. But when I sit down with you, I really start with you. What are your concerns? What do you and don't you understand? And this is what you have today, and the decision that you've made, let me show you how this works. Tells me that this is what you'll have to live on when you're 65. Is that enough for you? Is that good or bad? And I give them a number. Like, you'll have approximately $1,200 a month to live on. They go, what? That's not enough. And then I begin to talk to them about how to change the dial, how to move the dial.
And actually, moving the dial starts off a little bit further upstream. So when we talk about health and financial well-being, we understand that those elements of our lives are inextricably linked. When we're talking about aging, as we get older, the more likely we are to come into contact with health services, and we know that as we get older, healthcare costs become a sizable chunk of what we could potentially be getting as a pension. But kind of looking at more short-term impacts, we know that financial problems or financial insecurity can be a major source of stress. And stress has real short-term and long-term impacts, some of which we've actually talked about on this show. And we're talking impacts on not only our physical well-being, but also our mental health and emotional well-being. And this, in turn, can have knock-on effects on our productivity, as well as our ability to kind of carry out and be functional in our day-to-day lives. So really, managing our finances well and seeking help and seeking advice is a key important aspect of, your overall well-being. So the bottom line is that healthy habits shouldn't just pertain to your physical health, but really they should extend into, as we talked on the show, your mental well-being and emotional well-being, but also your financial well-being. And that's something that's really important, especially as we go into the holiday season.
We've been chatting about the holiday season, and that's how I ended up getting this lovely invitation.
And it's good because you know why? Every time, well, not every time, majority of the time this year, people say, you know what, holiday festival comes up, and looking at their finances, and they say, well, you know what? It's holiday. I want to spend a little extra. Make long story short, when the new year kicks in, they got the credit cards, they got this bill to pay, that bill to pay. Like, oh, why did I do that?
Absolutely.
Why did I do that? Why did it? Because it was holiday. I wanted to do this, and I have my friends over and do this, do that. But then comes the payment. It's not there. It's a struggle, right? I got my kids in school. I've got this to do. I got that to do, and it becomes a big burden. The stress kicks in. What sort of advice you give someone leading into this festival now, the festival period of Christmas?
Oh my goodness, this is what got us talking really. What's happened here in Bermuda is that we have embraced Thanksgiving, and it's not really that new to Bermuda that we have. It used to be harvest. Those old school folks of us know that Bermuda always celebrated in October harvest and giving and the spirit of giving. But as we've befriended and embraced more of our neighbors in the U.S. with the Thanksgiving, it has brought a commercial element. And Black Friday came, and soon after that, Cyber Monday came.
That's right.
And what's happened in Bermuda is that's a little different than the U.S. Christmas and Boxing Day is huge in Bermuda, and the Christmas sales. And so it's a bit of a double dip of people embracing the season earlier, but there's only one payday in between the two, and for some people, maybe two.
Right.
And so they've embraced the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they haven't projected that spend and budget and changed the way that they look at Christmas. And so what was always an issue for people in January, February is now compounded.
That's right.
It's December.
So it's a different outlook or approach that folks have to have now, because Black Friday is great. Love it, and Cyber Monday. But that shopping for Christmas means that you don't go and buy that second gift for someone when you already made a really great purchase for them on Black Friday. That's what's happened for us. Our seasons extended in ways that people haven't realized.
Yeah, so and we were just discussing this earlier, that we're really looking at a 6-week financial reality between Thanksgiving and Black Friday, leading on through to the new year.
And then a lot of people look to say, I'm stressed, I'm going away.
That's true.
Another burden on top. But when we talk about stress, a lot of people throughout the year say they're going to take a trip because they're stressed out, they can't take any more of this, but they're pulling money from different places. What advice would you have for those people in the scheme of things, because people try to borrow against pension, they try to borrow against whatever their savings is and so forth. Is that a smart thing to be doing?
No.
Well, sometimes travel has its place. I do not rule it out when I speak with people if they have family members and ways to economize on that travel and blend it with other things that meet that need if there's family or care in their travel. But for the most part, what we see happening in terms of I just want that break and shop, I really try to encourage people to have a bigger picture strategy about travel and planning and budgeting. I just had a stress break yesterday unexpectedly and did it in Bermuda. I stayed at a hotel in Bermuda, and it was wonderful. A wonderful stress break, much less cost. The off-season prices come down. You can oftentimes talk with the various facilities about packages, and we have some wonderful hidden gems in Bermuda. We really do. I felt like I was going on holiday as soon as my car pulled out of my driveway. I did. I had a little duffel packed. It was easier than traveling. I didn't have the airline. I just got in my car. I drove off, and it was wonderful.
And you got up again work today?
Yes, I did.
Different look in life.
I'm just messing.
But I think kind of one of the main points that we're trying to drive across is to have a regular routine of maintaining good financial health, not just when it comes up to those periods of the year where you're going to be a little bit of a big spender, but it's just making sure that you plan. And Angela can speak a little bit more to kind of what that looks like in terms of making sure that you've got a good amount of lead time before the holidays.
Yeah, thanks, Shakira. I'd like to get in my short-term and long-term tips because I know this 15 minutes is
That's fine.
fly
Good
by.
Yeah.
And so, hello, Bermuda Radio Land, my folks, my people out there that's listening. For some of you, you didn't have a longer-term strategy, and you're looking at next week and next month, and so Some do's and don'ts is make sure the biggest plus is make sure you have a list. And use self-discipline and stick to that list that you've aligned to what you know that you have. Carry it around with you. Second tip for you, do not carry all of your credit card resources on your person. So once you've established that this is what you have to spend, and you have that sum of funds, put that against one card, but take the other, because we already statistically know that people have certainly over 2 cards
Right,
in
multiple,
wallet.
yeah.
Actually, most have 3.
Mm-hmm.
So leave that other card at home. Literally, just put it in with your passport and close her up, so that you know you're not tempted to do that overspend. So just bucket up those funds. And for some people, just move to cash. You have a
Yeah.
position or a lump sum that you're spending, pull and draw that out, secure it, and spend down from your cash position, and you'll be a lot more realistic about your spend, and it makes your no a lot easier. So short-term tips, those are some good things that you absolutely can do. A little bit more longer term, rolling into next year, start standing orders. I'm a firm believer in it. Do it in January when you're really feeling good about your New Year's resolutions and feeling the pain of some of the decisions that you've made. Set up that standing order in January to start in February. It won't feel so bad because you've made the decision, but it's not going to hit you right away, and you probably will struggle with the January deduction. So now you say, okay, next year I'm going to have X dollars, and starting from February, do a 10-month standing order. It's never realistic to include December in it. So if you're going from February to November, you'll be so happy with yourself when November comes.
What happens with the average family that has 2 kids in school, one in a private school, let it be here or overseas, and one in university?
In terms of the spend?
Yeah,
or
the standing order you're asking to put together starting February to November. That's a huge challenge, because obviously the challenge would be you got to make sure your kids are in school. You got to take care of them as well.
That's all the more reason. Most people who are in that boat already understand the standing order process, because if they haven't, they're in arrears, most likely. There is a sector of the community that can just pay those lump sums of fees, but most people are breaking that down in some form of monthly payment.
Right.
And that monthly payment's just coming out on payday because they've got that commitment to their children's education. So for those persons, they're making that decision to make that standing order just a little bit bigger each month rather than having the stress of Christmas. They are more likely to stay to their budget because they've got a longer term huge expense. And I say they, that's an us of, my children are young adults and men now, but I lived through that reality of getting children through college. And you just had no other way to do it. So that definitely is a better way for people who have those big ticket items, because you didn't add the other M's. That's the M of motherhood, but you didn't add the M of mortgage.
Right.
And so if they've got a mortgage payment on top of that, they're probably already in the practice of doing it.
Okay.
It's a big plus to just add a little extra month by month.
It's constantly brought up about mental stress when it comes to finances, and it can then filter down to health. How does one look to make sure that one's looking at finances and they're becoming very stressed because they can't meet those ends, and then they start feeling bad? What's advice from Argus themselves on to anyone, not just your customers, but to anyone out there that's feeling that pinch, and then you want to stop it from going from that mental to physical?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things that we certainly advocate for is to just have an awareness of your position. So know what your your standing expenses are going to be. Whether you have a mortgage or kids in school, your monthly bills, and then have an understanding of your lifestyle. So whether travel is a factor or other things that you would like to do, or maybe that's necessary for your mental well-being, and then kind of do a need versus want. So I think then that's getting down into like the nitty gritty of the elements of our lifestyle, like how often we eat out, or how often we go out for a drink, and things like that, or how often we buy coffee. That's a big one as well. So it really is kind of getting down into the weeds of the little habits that you have in your daily lives, and saying, okay, can I adjust in a certain area? I think you also have to be realistic. Having that awareness about what your spending is like, and then being realistic. I don't think it would be fair to say that when it comes to finances, you're going to be completely stress free. But so that's where the realism comes through. I think. Angela, do you have anything to say?
Absolutely. I was talking to a colleague just this morning, and he said to me as I talked about this, do you remember what you received for Christmas last year? And I thought about it. And he said, do you remember what you gave for Christmas last year? And I said, yes, for the most part, yes. And he said, most people will have to think about it, or they really can't remember. And it just makes the point that at the time that we're shopping, we put so much emphasis on this spend and this shop and this spend. And these seasons are not about the spend. A year from now, you can't even remember. You have to look it up. It's about the experience. So not getting caught up in these one-off kind of big events and letting it sway you from your bigger picture. And then the other thing I try to advocate constantly is treat your financial well-being the same way you would your physical. You know if you're a person who goes to the doctor annually. And if you don't, you know you ought to. And when you go to the doctor and it's preventative, they're going to check some pretty basic things. Your blood pressure, your weight, your cholesterol, your sugar. Basic preventative measures. And if you're just on top of those things, you're pretty solid. Yet people do not do the same with their finances. And there are persons such as myself out there in the community who provide these services of consulting and giving people guidance. And if they were doing some preventative checks on their financial health, and they knew where they stood and had a better sense of kind of their affordability and if they're living within their means, they're much more aware about whether or not they're making good or bad decisions in the moment.
Does Argus offer, because we never know when we're going to be sick.
That's right.
Does Argus offer a separate plan of where someone can put money into in the event that they needed extra money, in the event that they take sick, or someone takes sick and they needed money right away? Because not all the time, or all the circumstances are covered in this day and age when it comes to health and having to either travel away or needing medication on island. Is there something that Argus offers in addition to?
I'm not going to speak on the health insurance side. I'm going to speak on the financial side with regards to that, because that's my area of expertise. We have a product that anyone, you don't even have to be where your pension or whatnot is with Argus. We have a product that persons can invest funds in. That's really good for medium or long-term saving, because if something medical comes up, you have that little something put aside. And we have those where they can be invested for you in such a structure that in an emergency you can draw down.
Oh, okay.
Bigger picture than Argus, because this is such an important topic. It's not just a press for Argus. I'm a huge advocate for having an emergency fund for just that type of thing. Start with that. And there are many products, not just with Argus, but in the community and within the banks, where people can start with somewhere you can place your funds that gives you something to draw on. Emergency funds is the 101 of me sitting down and
That's, I
talking
think,
with
the biggest problem we see with a lot of people, that a loved one or they end up in trouble physically, and then don't have that extra.
That's right. Because even if there's a medical issue and you have to get medications, there's a copay for something unexpected, or travel and someone else wishes to travel with you, which is unexpected, or maybe there's situations where there would be a reimburse later, but you need those funds right now. And so really pressing people, good governance, at least 5% of your income, try to stash it to an emergency fund. And 5% is not a lot. It feels like it when you say it, but when you do it in the maths, it seems small, but if you're doing it on a regular basis, it will build up.
Let's get ready to take a commercial break. This is a good topic, and we'll be back in 30 seconds after this. Oh, yeah, welcome back. Some more advice. I mean, I know we're into sports and stuff, but this is good for all of us, financial. For what you guys mentioned about a plan, the emergency fund, can someone come to you after the show or send you an email? Or how they get in contact with you? How does it go?
Yeah, definitely. So to learn more, you can give us a call at our customer service number, which is 298-0888. Or alternatively, you can email Thrive, THRIVE, at argus.bm, and then we'll put you in contact with the relevant people. We have a great team of advisors, including Angela, who can listen to your needs, listen to your concerns, and then help you kind of chart a way forward.
Question regarding the emergency fund again. Is there a limit amount, or do you recommend what we should start off with? I know you said 5%, but if someone says,
because someone might say, well, I only have $100, so I don't want to just
something like that.
You got to start somewhere.
There's no amount too small to get started.
Okay.
And no age is a wrong age. Whatever age you're at is something that we need to even be teaching our children when they're first starting with allowances, how to divvy up an income and not spend 100% of it. It's a mindset that starts from very young to help people understand about abundance in your life. Really, that's what it's about. And emergency funds and that ability to have something to draw on and have that safety net, we know already that just having it brings you more health and peace of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Because you know it's there, even when it's just a little bit.
Yes.
Even if it has only $100 in it or only $50
I know I
in
can
it,
get that money from.
you know I can get that money
That's true.
from.
That's true.
And so, some people started with that in a mason jar and they just put the coin in it and they know that if all else fails, it can take that bucket of coin. Come on now, you won't know what I'm talking about. Does anybody else know? And you can put it in the coin machine, and that's got to be at least $100 a coin when you gentlemen empty your coin pockets. You know it.
Sure.
And many of them do it. Well, that's kind of that basic startup way of, there's a fallback something. But when you formalize that into an actual account and you're just putting a little in it, in reality in Bermuda, just for that round out number, you want to get it to a point, a Bermuda emergency is going to need about $1,000 or more in it before you can be comfortable. Even on our hurricanes, and we live in a hurricane belt, you have a deductible on your insurance coverage on a home that's $2,500 or dollars in deductible. So if you've hit damages, you've got to come up with at least that. And any appliance that goes in your house, you're looking at $1,000 to replace it, minimal. That's not going to cover it, really. So when I say $1,000, you can at least fix your bike broke down, the washer broke, the hurricane
Usually
messed
3
up
things
the
in a row,
light.
so.
That's why I found the third thing.
Absolutely right.
But I don't say it to discourage, because if you start and you're just putting even, then you've got somewhere to start, and that mindset gets really exciting. I actually have clients like gotten them started, and then the emergency comes and they don't want to touch it.
Right.
And then I tell them that's what
That's what it's for. Yeah.
But it instantly will also begin to alleviate your stress.
That's true. That's so true.
Which is most important. I think most people's stress comes from financial.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that go to a gym to work out that stress, but then when they get back home and the bills are still there on the table, you for a little while you start thinking, I ain't gonna worry about it, but eventually it starts to build up on one. So I think one works hand in hand.
And one thing I'm going to say real quick to Bermuda Radio Land: spend the emergency money on the Christmas shopping.
That's true.
Christmas shopping is not an emergency.
It's funny when you guys mentioned Black Friday. I don't know if you've witnessed, but I've noticed that it's died down a bit. Yeah, I know here it has, but even overseas it's died down because you know what I've noticed online? There's sales like every day.
Yeah.
Right. When online shopping became popular maybe 5-6 years ago, I remember that the sale was like on special holidays. Now it's like this person's got a sale every weekend, 30%, 40, 50%. You sign up for it, you just get noticed. Boom, boom. It's all year round. It's like there, so you don't have to wait till Black Friday, but you can also budget for it instead of going to the Black Friday and I think Cyber Monday and things like that. So I think also what has happened in Bermuda, which you mentioned about Thanksgiving. And when I was in prep school, Thanksgiving, a lot of us stayed in the States. Now the kids that are going to prep school, their parents are bringing them back home on Thanksgiving. So they're celebrating. So they're getting getting to be a part of that festival. So it's growing more and more. That's why I've seen the change when I was in prep school a long time ago.
Well, we'll see. We'll see come next week if Black Friday has died around in Bermuda, because the last few years you've seen people out in all sorts of elements, bundled up to get a phone or a gift or something. You know.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The TV and the phone, maybe that's still there, but the retail, I don't think it's the same as it used to be.
I'll tell you, I don't knock it. I think it's great for our industry. We have sales have been down, and we really want to encourage people to shop in Bermuda. I think people who may have considered traveling have been more inclined to do that local shop. It's really more about controlling it. I think it's wonderful for us to generate income, and it's fun. There's frivolity, financial frivolity. There's fellowship. You're going, and people are creating whole new traditions around it. You know, them and the girls meeting at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and there's all the excitement of it. There's a lot of good in it. It's just like anything else. Is have a plan and have moderation, and then go ahead and have some fun with it. We're working adults. There's got to be some frolic in that finance. It's not all hard work. So it can be exciting. It can be fun. It just needs to be controlled.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Not easy. Not easy. Any final comments that you'd like to add that we did not ask?
Just as we go into the holiday season, planning is key. But also, if you do kind of go off track, don't let that ruin your whole experience. It's just like your health. You know, sometimes during the holiday season we overindulge, but the important thing is we get back on track when we have an opportunity to. Again, if our listeners would like to learn more or get some advice or talk to someone who can point you in the right direction, you can give us a call at 298-0888 or email thrive@argus.bm.
Cool. Thank you very much.
No last words for me.
Sure.
Blessings, Radio Land Bermuda, and thanks for having us. It's great being here.
Not a problem. It's a pleasure having you guys. We'll be back after this. Radio. Again, thank you, August, for that great advice on financial planning for 2020. And basically start now and put things in place. And obviously with the Thanksgiving coming up, the festivities and Christmas and Boxing Day and New Year's, trying to be fed on that spending and see what happens starting in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point she made. It's a good points. Bermuda playing tomorrow. Taking on Mexico.
10:30 Bermuda time, p.m.
I think we last talked that they lost. Unfortunately, was it
Friday night
4-2, but there was 2-2 at the half.
Yeah, they were down 2-0, came back 2-2, torrential rain, and so forth. But I think Kyle was more satisfied as I spoke to him after the game. He's more satisfied with the fact that players got a run against opposition unknown to them. It's one thing training against each other on a regular basis, but when you play unknown and you try to work things out, he tried a 3 at the back. It did not work. It didn't suit our players. Reverted back to 4 at the back with the system that we usually play, and that's when we came back to score the 2 goals. Made a whole host of changes, again wanting to give players an opportunity to play. Obviously some players would have wanted more time, but I guess through the coaching staff they wanted to see other players for a longer duration of the game. And DC United scored 2 more goals, and unfortunately we lost 4-2. But I think they're on their way right now to Mexico, where they'll get in at later on this evening, up early tomorrow, get ready, game day preparation, and away they go. And they're flying right out about 3 hours after the match, heading back towards, well, wherever their final destinations will be. Looking at the match, obviously Mexico have made changes to their team, and Bermuda has made changes to their team from the original team picked. Mexico bring in more quality players with more experience of international competition. So, the coach is looking past Bermuda because they've actually already qualified for the Gold Cup. So I guess it's time to give those players who missed out on the first 2 matches against Bermuda and Panama an opportunity to get another good run. So, he's looking to spruce up his team, and I know Bermuda will be looking to have a good showing for themselves. It didn't work in Bermuda. We lost 5-1. We now travel to some high altitudes where we all know the players will struggle. It's how we overcome that, and I just think that it's going to be a challenge, not only for the players but for the coaches, for the team that they have around them. So hopefully we come out unscathed. Hopefully everybody's okay when it's all over, said and done. The game, to be honest, it's more that the players come out healthy than whatever the result may be.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great enough.
Yeah,
cool. A lot has done a lot. A lot is going into football over the last year and a half, and we're starting to see the rewards being rewarded, and in a positive way. You're seeing the program thrive again. Our national team more so than the senior national team, more so than the youth team, because emphasis were more put onto the youth because our senior program wasn't there.
Right.
With Kyle and his management team and core and BFA administration putting the emphasis there and putting the improvements there, it bodes well for Bermuda to see what is the future for 2020 and beyond.
I know a lot of people will go back to that dreaded day in Switzerland a number of years ago when all those arrests were made in FIFA.
In Switzerland?
Yeah. When they had their
I'm sorry, got you.
FIFA.
Oh, sorry,
hands and wondering where football would go. Basically, that was a lifeline for countries like Bermuda, because the new regime of FIFA executive wanted to make sure that football was equal for all, because in those arrests you found that
the rich were getting richer,
yes.
the poor getting poor.
And it was a struggle for the smaller countries to actually get games in and so forth. So with
finances.
Yeah, and finances.
Yeah,
and with the new FIFA regime, with the new CONCACAF regime, they've said, you know what, we need to make sure if the game is going to grow, and if the regions are going to grow, we have to start making sure that the smaller countries have equal opportunity as everyone else in making sure that at least the playing time is going to be somewhere equal.
Right.
Now, financially, obviously, we know where we live, and we know our dollar it has to stretch. Whereas, if we got $1 million and another Caribbean country got $1 million, it's two different $1 million. Although it's the same, it's two different $1 million because of
one get 1.5,
yeah,
one get 1.
Yeah, yeah. So I think having the resources of being able to talk with the CONCACAF president, having the ability to have the FIFA president come to Bermuda to have talks, I think it has made a lot of people administratively wise and feel a lot better about the game. And then what the players have been able to accomplish on the field is actually a bonus as well. I know a lot of people talk about results, and I just think having the opportunity to play at this level on a regular basis only bodes well down the road. No, you don't expect to win every game you go out. What we're looking for is decent performances, and when players are introduced to the team, looking for them to actually make an impact on that team.
Well stated. Well stated. Let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll discuss some more on football and any other topic regarding sports, professionally, locally, internationally. You got it. We're there. We'll be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back. Earl, this coming Saturday, because we had Nathan in here, the president of the Bermuda Boxing Federation. Big night coming up. He's done a lot under his tutelage as the president, involving local boxing in Bermuda.
That's why I asked about the national championships, because I think that was one of the things that he and Melissa, I believe, kind of put in place to ensure that the locals had an opportunity to show their worth without having that international, I guess, attraction. They had it at Cedar Bridge. I think it was probably a good night for all that took part. And of course they're talking about bringing it back. So I think what they're attempting to do is on the right path. I know Andre Landy and I think it's Andre Landy. The two boxers who were in Colombia last year, looking to make their way to the professional world. It only bodes well now that we'll have two guys at the same time. I know when Teresa was boxing, it was just a female. Nikki was boxing, it's just a male. But to have multiple people at the same time out there doing what they love to do, I think it bodes well, and it's encouraging for other youngsters who want to get involved in the sport to look at two people and try to emulate what they've done. So, yeah, we look forward to that.
Okay, cool. I was going to say one more thing. What? Lost my train of thought. Forgive me. Getting ill.
Every minute.
Every minute. Fair enough. The sports awards nominees.
Because it's about second week of December, so we got about a month.
Right.
For those people who want to nominate someone, you got to get it in. If you want that person to be recognized, or that organization to be recognized, or you want anybody in the community who has done well in over the past year or years in sports, it's your opportunity. It's your opportunity and your right to nominate and submit and have your say in having that person recognized.
Interesting enough, this process has been in place for a number of years, and what makes me laugh about us comedians is that once the awards are been handed out or announced that evening, if so and so has won, male or female or athlete or whatever, they say, how come this person was nominated? The process is nothing new, nothing changes.
Nothing.
You guys spill the beans, share the information with the people, saying this is how we should do it, this is the rules and regulations, but they yet to date the numbers are down because the number of people don't follow through. But yet the first ones to criticize.
Those are the people you turn your volume down and ignore. If you're not willing to, if you don't think anybody's worthy, then you can't criticize who's nominated and you can't criticize who's picked.
Right. But yet they want to do it. And sports plays a major role in Bermuda because that's what we love. We love a lot of sports. But when it comes to nominating someone, follow the process. Put that person's name for the male or female, the young person, whatever the case may be. And then when it comes out to make the announcements, don't be surprised if he or she is not there because you didn't help the process because that person did get in because of what you put forth. That's how it should work. That's how it's supposed to work.
Indeed.
But people just want to criticize it. Don't get that. I just don't understand it. So
I mean, I look at sports as a way for people to get rid of a lot of frustration, get a lot of joy out of, because if one can't perform a sport but loves to see others having fun doing it, I think that's a joy that brings to that person. And I think then we have to in turn make sure that we recognize those people who are making the sacrifice of training, of putting in the commitment, of sacrificing their family time and all that goes with it to make sure that they can entertain, because that's what sports is, entertainment.
And for the athlete, it's a joy, like you said. Get rid of stress. Yes, they want to compete. It's something that they look forward to. They just want to conquer it in the island of amateur events and be a part of it, be a part of the history and just enjoy it. And I bumped into a guy last week, a week before, and I said, oh, you no more motocross? And he said, nope, I'm into triathlons. We've just been in triathlons for a while, but I said, you're still good at it? He goes, yeah, because man, I just get a thrive out of it. It just keeps me going, keeps my mind at ease. I enjoy it.
Just work on your swimming, partner. Just work on your swimming.
You know what I'm talking about?
Work on your swimming.
Maybe he had his motorbike. He could pop a wheelie in the ocean, you think?
It's the. Well, you know what? When I watch people who have come up in other sports, try a new sport, and get a joy and a satisfaction out of it, that for me is what sports is all about. Because you're not just diversity in one way. You open yourself up to saying, you know what, it's not about who else is doing it, it's I'm doing it.
That's true.
And when you're challenging yourself, especially in anything that's timed out, you put a time up on there and you say to yourself, I want to beat that time. I don't care if I come last, but as long as I beat the time, then I feel I've won. And no one can take that from me.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So we often do talk to the people that come first, second, and third, but it's those people that come down the order that you see them come through a finish line and they're so happy with themselves, and you wonder, I wonder why. Because they set themselves a personal goal, whether to be finished, whether to be finished in a certain amount of time, whether it's to, help somebody else along.
Or break the old time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They set yourself a goal and accomplish a goal. So, those are the things that for individuals are huge wins right when they start. So
That'll do winners.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll take our last commercial break for the afternoon, and then we come back. We'll wrap up Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baston.
Just want to tease one of my friends who just sent me a text. He's an Arsenal fan, and he said something about he doesn't care how Arsenal plays. He just wants them to have a good bill of health. Well, I just read this morning on BBC Sports. Emery has 1 month left to not make a decision, but to turn the team around. You can have a good bill of health if he doesn't turn the team around. I'm just asking.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, that is a job. So and those players are in the business of playing football.
Oh yeah.
So
and getting paid every money.
Yeah.
Money so take care of their health.
So what do you mean turn it around? So if he wins 4 games and loses 1, is that a turnaround?
Yeah, it would help them out. Yeah, tremendously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they could lose 4 and win 1.
Right. Or they could win 1 and lose 4.
Yeah. Or win none.
What? But that's just the thing. What is if they're telling him change things around or turn things around? What does that entail? Because I could draw 5 games.
Well, okay. In all honesty, if he draws 5 games right now, right? I think they're in 5th place. They would drop down to like maybe if they drew 5 games, 17th.
Right. But if you look at it, right, the standings right now, it is Liverpool and Manchester City.
No, it's Liverpool.
Right, Manchester City lost. Right.
So it's Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea.
Right.
And Manchester City.
So what is the gap between 1 and 5?
I think it's like maybe 15 points.
Okay, fine. So if Arsenal are in 5th and they're already 15 points behind Liverpool, right? And they draw 5 times, dropping down is probably, you said, to about 16th, right?
Right.
That middle table, you win 3 games after that, you're right back up to where you, because everybody's in that middle half of the table is off by 2 or 3 points.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So if he turns around and wins, he could win 5 or 4 and lose 1 and still be in 5th.
Yeah, as long as Liverpool, I got you. Yeah, as long as
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what are they saying? What you have to determine what is the turnaround.
Okay, so in their case, I'm assuming so as they win the 4 or 5 games, and the top 4 still continue with it.
Right.
Then he has a chance to make the top 4. Yeah, you're right. I see where you're going.
Right.
Yes, he still has a chance to make the top 4. So
Right.
he will still survive in that.
Right.
You're right about that. But if you don't,
Yeah.
all right. I told a good friend of mine who's been a football coach here in Bermuda for Warwick United and Rangers. I told him he needs to come out of retirement and be the coach of Arsenal.
I like to see any Bermudian maintain a relationship with millionaires in a change room that can tell you, where you from? What do you say? All right. The door is right there where you came in just now. You better go back outside.
That's just talk, say.
But, you know,
I know.
mean, but
there's guys that think they can do that.
Well, but you got to remember, a manager is coaching or trying to instruct millionaires.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not.
No.
Especially when these guys feel like, you know what? The club needs me. I don't need the club. Because if you don't want me, somebody else will take me.
That's a big feeling.
Yeah. Because we don't know what goes on behind on the training pitch and behind closed doors. You know? We only see the results of what they show you of training sessions or game.
Yeah. Good point, mate.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. So Arsenal, keep your fingers crossed. See what happens.
But what is, again, I'll ask, what is the meaning of success? What are they looking for?
I guess you have to ask Arsenal that one. I can't answer Arsenal. I was just reading what was on BBC.
If they outplay teams and draw
5,
but they're playing quality football, because you could play quality football and not win. You know? What are you looking for? Quality football? Are you looking for just the win?
Well,
it could be ugly football.
In this case, what I know of Arsenal,
they want to win.
They want to win. Right?
Yeah, well,
they'd rather get 15 points as opposed to 5.
Well, guess what? They got rid of the guy that could have counted them.
No, he retired. You talking about Wenger?
Yeah.
He retired.
Yeah, you know why? Because all
Yeah.
they talk in the back.
Yeah. Well, he's been there for a number of 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. I guess you say talk back. Gotcha. All right. Well, it's a pleasure. I'll see you back next week, Monday.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Same time, same place.
Good luck with the Bermuda Boxing Federation on Saturday night, and good luck to Bermuda tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
That's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks.